and it's an appeal to authority. A lot of people, when they hear experts or something like that, their mind just shuts off. They just, oh, okay, if the experts say so, I guess we have to give up all our rights. No, I don't think so. I wasn't really planning on making any videos the last few days. I've been spending a lot of time on the homestead working on various projects while the weather's good during our summer. But I had to comment on this Nova Scotia hiking ban or wilderness ban. It's absolutely insane. Tim Houston, a progressive conservative, he's not conservative at all. He certainly doesn't care anything about freedom or rights. He's just another little authoritarian exercising his power. And I'll play the clip now and then I'll comment.
We're here today because the experts have advised, and we agree, that more precautionary steps are required. We have to stay in front of this. We can take steps while we are in the middle of trying to fight fires, or we can be proactive and try to prevent them. And we have chosen to be proactive and try to prevent fires. So based on the recommendations of Scott Tingley and his team, they recommended, and we agree with the following. Effective 4 p.m. today, we're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods. We are restricting travel and activities that really aren't necessary for most of us. Hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods are not permitted. Trail systems through woods are off limits. Camping is allowed, but only in official campgrounds. The fine for violating any of these bans is the same as the fine for the ban on burning, $25,000.
So I think there were some key takeaways for that. One, it's experts. The experts told me to do it, right? But of course, he doesn't name the experts. This is the exact same playbook that they used during COVID when they wanted to do lockdowns or masking or recommend vaccination. Experts say this, experts say that. They never actually name the experts. Nobody's ever actually liable or has to face public pressure for their decisions or their recommendations because it's just experts. The media likes to do that a lot too as well. And it's an appeal to authority. A lot of people, when they hear experts or something like that, their mind just shuts off. They just, oh, okay, if the experts say so, I guess we have to give up all our rights. No, I don't think so. The ban that he has put into place is until October 15th or until conditions improve enough that they say they're going to lift it. So first of all, the fact that they put a date on it and didn't just say as soon as it rains, we'll lift the ban, that tells me that they actually want it to go until October 15th, which from my understanding is there's a hunting season that should start before then. At least I know it does here in Alberta. So now you're going to keep hunters out of the woods as well due to a fire ban. But the main thing I'm kind of trying to understand here is, how does walking in the woods or fishing on a stream in the woods create a forest fire? If you want to ban all sources of ignition, all sparks, all flames in wilderness areas, okay, I can get behind that. If it's bad enough, it's bad enough. I know here in Alberta, we've had bans on ATVs in wilderness areas during some of the worst fire seasons. Okay, it's not, I have actually read news articles where ATVs have started fires. So that might actually make some sense. But for somebody that just wants to go for a walk, it's insane. Okay, you know, if you want to have a heavy hand when you catch somebody, an arsonist or somebody who's just completely negligent and you know, starts a fire and it gets out of control, okay, fine. You know, you have a heavy hand, throw the book at them, teach, you know, set an example that we're not going to tolerate this nonsense. But you're going to punish everybody else who hasn't done anything because there's a few bad actors out there. Like, that's not what living in a free country is about. And the fine, I've actually heard that this is not the first time they've had this ban, but apparently they might have done something similar in 2016 and then again in 2023, but the fines were like $100 and some, and then I think in 2023 it was like $234 or something like that. And okay, that's a bit more reasonable. It's like a speeding ticket. Okay, well, if I really, really, really want to go out into the woods, maybe I had a camping trip planned already, I'll take the risk. If I get caught, I get caught. I'll pay the ticket. But $25,000, like that in and of itself is a completely separate issue. $25,000 for a non-criminal act? Complete insanity. Who even has that money? You're basically, most families, if they had to pay $25,000, they'd be like selling vehicles or their homes or borrowing on a line of credit. Like, there's not that many people in this economy that just have $25,000 lying around, especially in Nova Scotia. Their economy's not that good. The other thing I want to comment about Nova Scotia is apparently Nova Scotia is a place where I guess people don't have much of a backbone, because it seems to be a testing ground for this sort of authoritarian nonsense. I'll see if I can find the news article, but they were talking about starting the gun buyback confiscation in Nova Scotia. So, I guess maybe because it's like a small area and the people are compliant, it's like a testing ground for this sort of authoritarian nonsense. And, this is what's kind of interesting about this as well is that one of the things that conspiracy theorists talked about after COVID kind of fizzled out, there was enough public pushback that they kind of had to roll everything back. They didn't get away with their vaccine passports that were going to turn into our digital IDs. And they've kind of had to roll it all back. But one of the things that the conspiracy theorists warned about was climate lockdowns. And we'll see if that gets this video demonetized or censored, because apparently you're not allowed to say that on YouTube, but I'm going to say it and see what happens. So we'll see how many views I get. Maybe I'll get like 10. Isn't that what this is? Oh, it's dry. You're not allowed to go out into the woods anymore. You're not allowed to go on the king's land, peasants. That's for the king and the royalty. And it makes me wonder, are we going to catch Tim Houston off at his cottage in the woods getting away with, doing what nobody else is allowed to do? It wouldn't surprise me. We saw that during the lockdowns, during the COVID lockdowns. And of course, there was all excuses. Jason Kenney here in Alberta got caught having dinner out on a rooftop, discussing business over wine and getting served by a waiter while everybody else was locked down in their house. A couple of videos talked about, creeping authoritarianism and is it or is it not a good time to leave Canada? This is the type of stuff that has people thinking about leaving Canada. Imagine if you're like an outdoorsman, you like hiking, fishing, camp. That's the other thing. I know this is just a rant at this point. I'm just rambling. But when you go camping in the woods, that's just like where you stay the night. Like Tim Houston's like, well, you can still go camping at provincial campgrounds and stuff. It's like, yeah, but what are you going to do there? You can't have a fire. And, you go camping there so that when you get up in the morning, you can go on a hike, or you can go stream fishing, or you can go, whatever it is, go do something in the woods. And like, that's the point. You're like right there. You can get right after it, right? So now what? Camping involves going to a place with a bunch of other people and then sitting around at a picnic table without a fire and not being allowed to do anything else at all? Who would want to do that? Oh, you can still go camping. It's useless. There's no point. And then we have idiots defending this nonsense. I can't believe that there's that many people on X and on Facebook defending this garbage. Let me read a couple and then I'll maybe make some comments. We know our geography and landscape agreement doesn't mean thoughtlessness. If anything, much of the opposition, that's me apparently. If anything, much of the opposition has been shallow, no real discussion, no effort to examine the why. If you want to know whether you agree or not, you have to actually do the work to understand. Oh, I don't need to do the work. Walking in the woods does not start fires. If you want to ban fires, if you want to ban smoking in the woods, if you want to ban any sources of ignition, like you get caught with lighter fluid or gasoline or a lighter in the woods, we'll fine you. Okay. That might still be a little heavy-handed, but at least it makes sense. But, you're not allowed to walk in the woods when you're out camping in the woods? Makes no sense at all. And, I care about freedom. That's the final analysis here. I don't care how dry it is. Okay? There's no level of dryness where you shouldn't be allowed to walk in the woods. I've been around some very, very dry situations, and I've never just seen somebody walking across a dry grass field or walking in a dry wooded area start a fire by walking. It doesn't happen. Here's another one. This person actually disagrees with it. I agreed with it until I found out major fireworks events are still being approved. Yeah, of course, right? There's always like hypocritical mixed signals when these types of things, because it's not really about preventing the fires. That's the excuse for the tyranny. But this other person says, it's not only the risk of someone starting a fire. Firefighters have to think about what happens when a fire breaks out. Any extensive trail system could conceivably have dozens of hikers and runners scattered across the length of the trail. Valuable time is lost locating and rescuing these people from the area. Okay, fine. You want big daddy government to protect everybody from themselves? What is government? Like, you do realize that people still do extreme sports, right? Like, people go rock climbing, people mountain bike on mountain trails, whitewater rafting. Like, life has risks, but in a free society, you're allowed to take risks. So if you want to go hiking and then there's a fire and you get trapped, you're an adult, right? Big daddy government doesn't have to protect you from everything. Okay. And the last one I'm going to read, this one is just like, this one's actually over the top, because this person actually likes to go hiking and they're still defending it. Typically, I hike my local trail system for about 20 kilometers daily. So what are you going to do now? You just going to walk on the road for 20 kilometers daily? I bet that'll be real fun. My husband and I have a camper set up at our lake lot that we access by the woods road on family land that we have deeded access to. We love the woods so much, which is why we wholly support these strict measures. Okay, so you would think that this person would actually care about their own recreation, but apparently licking government boots is more important to them. And what I have heard is that, from watching some other videos, I haven't actually read the actual legislation, so hopefully I'm correct on this, but what I have heard is that you're allowed to go around on your own land if you own a large piece of property, but friends and family are not allowed to go around on your own land. That could get you the $25,000 fine, or them the $25,000 fine, or everybody. Imagine if there's like 10 people, $250,000 of fines. That's a very lucrative day for the government. But yeah, it's insane. Even on private property, you can't have friends and family over and go for a walk in the woods. So I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. I've rambled way too long on this. What do you think? Do you think that these are fair measures and reasonable, or do you think that the government in Nova Scotia is completely out of control? Also, like and subscribe to this video. Share it if you know people that you think would enjoy it. And until next time, take care.